This is a forensic photo gallery. This is the first screen that you would see post-recovery. What makes this gallery unique is that this has a dedicated interface that lets you view and organize hundreds of thousands of photos in a single click. Traditional photo applications are focused on text and file-based searches. Here you can group, sort, and filter photos based on photo-specific and EXIF properties. So let me show you some more. By default, all the pictures are split according to the method in which they were recovered. The first tab you're looking at are all the active photos which were not deleted. Any of the active photos contain embedded photographs. Those embedded photographs are pulled out from the active photos. These are all the deleted photos but were sequential on the device. These are all smart card pictures, which means they were deleted and they were fragmented. And Adroit, using its smart carving technology, pulls out those photos. Any files that were deleted and had embedded photos, like a deleted zip file, and we'd be pulling out the pictures from the deleted zip file. Photos that were carved but were deemed invalid or partially carved, where it had missing data, incorrect clusters, and so on and so forth. Can we group them by a different set of tabs? Yes, let me show you how to do. I just want to see the active and the deleted file. So here, all the active photos and photos that were embedded in the active photos are in the first tab, whereas the deleted and the embedded in the deleted counterparts are in the second tab. Can I just see the valid and invalid photos? Fine. All the valid photos or photos whose validity was not verified, like active photos whose validity would not be verified unless specifically chosen. And these are, again, just the two partial files which we saw before. Now I'm going to pull all of them into a single tab and not split them across, because I want to show you some of the grouping and sorting out options that we have. Most photos contain EXIF data. We can make use of the EXIF data to find out stuff like what camera each picture came from, whether any of these photos were manipulated by a software, what date was this photo taken. Now, can we make use of those properties to cluster them together and start searching through them? The first thing I'm going to show you is group by camera. Let's see how many cameras we have among these 286. So a big chunk of them don't have any EXIF information, so we don't have it. But the ones that do have EXIF information are shown here. As I hover across this group, I can see all the thumbnails in this group. There are 4 photographs here, which is shown as part at the top right of the thumbnail, and these photos came from an Apple iPhone 4. If I just hover over for a minute, and I can see the tooltip that gives me information about what kind of photos are there, how many photos are there in this group, the file name, the camera type, so on and so forth. Now, what else can I group by? Do any of these have software tags? So we have a Photoshop 7.0, we have Photoshop CS2 from a Mac, CS2 from a Windows, and all the different software tags. These are all from QuickTime. So what can we do here? Now again, we see them being clustered together. If we did not want them to be clustered together and we want all of them to be individually shown according to what software tags they have, I'm just going to say sort. So we have the photo split, and each one just shows me the software tags, but they're not clustered together anymore. They are sorted. I'm going to take it back to the grouping, and let's look at some of the grouping options that we have based on the dates and the times. What day was these photo last modified? These are based on the file system information, and we have them clustered together again, but according to the day and the date. Can I do it by month? Yes. Can I do it by year now? Yes. Now we have photos that start from 2011 and go up to 1998. The same thing can be done based on the resolution. We have, most of them are unique resolutions, so they're not grouped together. They the ones that are grouped together are shown here in this fashion. Now let me show you some of the filtering options that we have. So more often than not, when we install an operating system or any other software, the hard drive gets populated by these tiny icon files, tiny PNG files, and GIF files, which may not exactly be relevant to your investigation. What you might want to look for are the photos that came from a camera, say JPEG files, raw files like CR2, CRWs from a Canon camera, NES from a Nikon camera, DNGs, so on and so forth. Once we do recover all these, and Adroit recovers most of these camera raw formats, you can just choose to view those files. So right now we don't see any PNGs, any RAWs, or any GIF files here. All I'm looking at are the JPEGs and the raw files. But we also have a lot of these thumbnails right now. I have this 96 by 72. I have, again, a lot of thumbnails that have been created across the drive every time we choose to view them. So let me say I don't want to see any thumbnails. Our number drops from 286 to 105, and we've already made the problem smaller. We get to see what we want to see. We offer all the Windows keyboard shortcuts. I can just do multi-select. I'm holding the control button and I'm randomly clicking on photos. I can also hold the shift key down and select photos. Right now I have chosen a bunch of these photos, and what I'm going to do is I am going to bookmark them. By bookmarking them, I am actually tagging these photographs by and every time I bookmark these pictures, I get a tiny green tag that appears at the top left corner of each of these photos that tells me instantly when I look at this picture that it has been bookmarked. We also look at this tiny red tag that appears in the top left portion of the thumbnail. This indicates that this picture was hash alerted. By hash alert, we mean that the MD5 calculated as this photo was recovered matches the MD5 on the imported hash database, and as soon as we get a hit, this photo gets tagged under hash alert. We also see are photos like this that are showing me two pictures within the same thumbnail square, whereas others are showing a single photo. What is so special about the photos that I'm selecting right now? 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Now these photos are those that have an embedded thumbnail, but the thumbnail itself does not match the actual photo. Whereas in this case, it could potentially not have a thumbnail, or if it did have a thumbnail, the thumbnail matched the primary image. So in this case, the thumbnail is shown in the background and the actual photo is shown in the foreground. It immediately draws your interest and attention to say that this photo was definitely manipulated and somebody is trying to hide the actual content of the photo behind a safe thumbnail. Here, there are actually two children in the primary photo, whereas the thumbnail depicts a beach. Let me take you back to group by camera. Now, going back to group by camera, we see that previously we had green tags, now we have yellow tags. These yellow tags indicated that some of the photos in this group were bookmarked. So here, as I can see, only one of the 6 photos was actually bookmarked. The same for the hash alerts. Previously, the red tags are shown as yellow to indicate that only some photos in this particular group have been bookmarked or have been hash alerted. 2 photos have been hash alerted here out of the 20, and 1 out of the 20 was a bookmarked photo. Whereas if all of them are bookmarked, it would still appear as a green tag. Here we do have only one picture, and that was bookmarked. Now, what if I don't want to see all of these photos? What if I know exactly the devices that these photos came from, and I want to view pictures that came from only those devices? Let's say my suspect had an iPhone 4. I'm going to choose that. And he also happened to have a Canon FD700. Let me choose that. Now, can I view the photos only, can I view only these photos in a gallery? Yes. all I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and say view custom gallery. So these 24 pictures got launched in a custom gallery and they're sorted by their file name. So I'm going to do a group my camera to show you that we have photos coming from only those two cameras and nothing else, SD700 and Apple iPhone 4. So where do these photos have any software tags? Only them, and were they manipulated by some software? Yes, we can do that. When I do a group by software in the custom gallery, we get to reorganize these photos based on their software tags, and only these 24 photos are going to be shown here. What do we have here? We have CS on a Mac, CS3 on a Windows, Photoshop Lightroom, and you can proceed from here. Now, can I view these in a custom gallery? Yes, I can. So at this point, I'm just looking at the 4 photos that have been launched, and they are all from a CS Mac 4. And what can I do from here? Okay, let's say that I have identified the photo that I need, that this is the specific picture that I was looking for. Is there a way that I can see all the other photos that came from the same folder but did not have any of these tags? Can I just view all the photos that were along with this photo? So all I'm going to do is view photos in the same folder. So what I do know now is that this particular picture was found in the first partition in the trip folder where there are 32 other photos that were saved. So I can move forward in a single click, and all these are very intuitive and based completely on the properties of the photograph. Previously, we had bookmarked some of these photos. Now, can I just go back and I want to see what were the photos that I bookmarked? I can also just launch a custom gallery based on the bookmarked photos. So I'm looking at just those 15 photos that were bookmarked. Show me the photos that were hash alerted. This could be the important ones because they are already part of a case. Now these 3 are photos that were hash alerted. The hashes of these photos are present in a database that was imported onto the device. Adroit also analyzes the thumbnail caches present in any of the disk images or drives that were analyzed, and all the thumbnails are shown here. Now we're specifically looking for thumbnails where the thumbnails are seen. Where did these thumbnails come from? So I want to find out the parent file, and I really don't want to open them. Can I do it without that? I'm going to do a group by folder right now. Where it was sorted. So I'm just going to group here. I know that these 44 were stored in the thumbsdb file, which is in the downloads folder. These thumbsdb files were in the backup. Now what we see is the thumbs.db file, so they were obviously saved on an XP machine and not on a Vista or a Windows 7. The Vista and the Windows 7 provide for the thumbnail caches, which are slightly different, but Adroit can process and organize those photos too. Were any of these photos marked for deletion? Were they found in the recycle bin? This photo was found there. Let's just see what folder information can they provide. Now this photo was actually marked for deletion, and if we see that these 2 photos were actually embedded in this photo. The group by folder also takes more of an importance when we are looking at embedded photos. So I'm just going to take you to the original photo gallery, where I'm going to split them as embedded and invalid. So right now, going back to here, I am looking at show me all the photos that were, and I do a group by folder. We automatically know that which file was this particular picture embedded in. It shows the parent file. So this one photo came from the analysis.pdf. This one came from the Battle North Point, which was a thumbnail within the JPEG, and these 14 photographs came from a zip file, and this was a thumbnail in one of the photos that was in the zip file. These are all not the embedded photographs, and their folder information is not seen. So taking you back to the photo gallery and grouping by file name, I'm going to conclude this presentation. all recoveries. This is the forensic photo gallery.